Bugatti circuit.
Brands Hatch all the way through to Yas Marino.
It's Sonoma,
One race.
bumps galore.
YMTV.
YMTV.
Is it clear now? Oh, he's going to make it work.
Moving once again, and now there's a
Going down towards the double right hand. Who's it going to be? It's Smith Lozeo!
JSR Ross Harmark.
That race is
Spoken has the acceleration. What a race. What a race.
Live from Suzuka, Japan, it is round number 2 of the Online Racing Association's GT300. We have 2 races on offer tonight, featuring some of TORA's fastest drivers. Last week, we had a laugh. We poked fun at some of the car choices, but something has changed over the last 7 days. Hello everyone, my name is Andy, aka THR Flip Mode, and alongside me is Ajax. And Ajax, that change, this fun Thursday night league, has it suddenly got serious?
Yeah, it has. With one single car swap, we have a guy going from probably a mid-pack outside for a podium to becoming an instant challenger, and that's Harmonic. He drove the Prowler proudly last week, but it just doesn't have the legs to be able to contend with this group of cars in the current balance of performance. So he's made the switch to the Honda S2000, which we've seen a lot of, and I think almost immediately that puts him in contention with the guys like LSEM, AMR, and our last week double winner Diablo as a contender for the wins tonight.
Oh, you better believe this is the last thing Diablo wanted. If he had any chance to actually secure a championship, if Harmonic had stuck and decided to finish the rest of the season in that Prowler, Diablo would have loved that. But now he's got a competitor. He's going to have someone right next to him every step of the way. And we're going to get a thrill here. We're going to go right into qualification, guys. So today, again, Suzuka East. This is the short circuit. So you get a little look of that track on screen right now. And one of the car choices we may see if we're lucky. This series has really turned out to be a lot of S2000s. But today it is Suzuka East. Qualification is just about ready. We should be in there any moment now. But early expectations here for Suzuka East. What are you thinking, Ajax? What do you like about the track? What do you don't like about the track?
It's a quick little track. It might come into an issue in the longer race that we actually see traffic and back markers potentially coming in to be a factor. It's a technical track. The second half of the section, after you get around the first 2 turns, is the winding S's, and there's only really one true line through there, so it's going to be really difficult to pass tonight. A lot of the overtaking opportunities are going to be coming into turn 1 after that long straightaway. It'll be a hard one for guys to actually make a position, so tonight qualifying is really crucial.
It sure will be. We're getting back into that room now. I was actually just disconnected, but I'm getting back in now. It might have been more than just me, so could have been a room issue there. You did the same thing for you?
Yep.
Yeah, okay. So any moment now, we'll get back into Suzuka East. Slight delay, but qualification. Want to run through the format. We always like to do this because we may have some new viewers here to YMTV. How tonight going to go, Ajax? What are we about to watch?
So you get 1 warm-up lap and then 5 time laps, and that is it. You got 6 laps total. It's a crunch. You got to get your time in there. You got to get 1 benchmark in probably, and then you really have to push and go for it. Dirtying a lap on this track is going to be really difficult because I believe there's only 2 sectors. So if you dirty a lap, it's going to definitely influence the next lap. So it's difficult. You have to stay clean, but you have to be fast.
Staying clean, that's got to keep those tires on the tarmac. So we'll be watching some cars today, and we're going to be trying to find the fastest car to do that. So let's get those cars on track. Here we go. Our first look at Suzuka East, and it's a small one. It is well, I don't know. It's 6 turns, I guess. And as far as distance, 1.3 miles. So very, very short. And these lap times, I imagine, are going to be very, very quick. Less than a minute, I imagine. I actually don't know what we're about to expect, but we'll find out very, very quickly. Look how closely this pack is to each other. And out in front right now, getting a look at a Mazda, one of the cars we haven't seen so far this season, in Big Ben.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Mazda Miata week, the MX-5, was not featured in Lobby A. We have a couple in this lobby from Hellfire and Big Ben. And it may be a little bit more of a contender this week if guys can handle the slight lack of top end down the front straightaway, but it does have good grip through the second half of the course. The BRZ might be another challenger this week too. Chirp had a difficulty qualifying last week, it sounded like, and ended up in B lobby. It sounded like he took a double win over there though, so he may be somebody that can show up in one of the BRZs and actually contend this week as well.
There you get a look at THR Chirp's BRZ. We didn't see him last week. I believe he actually had a pretty good performance in the B lobby. I believe he secured at least 1 podium. He may even got a race win there. I'll have to double check that in between races. But here is THR Chirp. Our first full flying laps are in. And 54.4 from LMR Harmonic. And a big gap there to get to second. Here come everyone else. Chirp now to 6th. Menace, we saw him last week. He's got the 5th fastest time. D-Tech in 10th. That's the danger zone now. Big Ben in a 56, so times 54.4 from LMR Harmonic. So it looks like 54s, 55s are the times you guys want to need to have to get into A lobby. And see who else can get those times. And see them scroll across the top of the board. AMR Nightlock, 55.2.
Yeah, everybody in here so far between the 54s and the 56s, it looks like we have 5 guys already into the 54s on their first lap, with GG Racing being the last guy at 54.9. Harmonic not look to have any rust or anything, immediately made that switch and is currently the #1 qualifier.
Lawrence is going to move into second, faster than Diablo, the 54.375. So the times are coming down. We'll get Lawrence on screen. We saw him. He had 2 third places last week, just behind in some great battles with LSEM Savon 2K. So Lawrence looking for some redemption. He doesn't want thirds. He wants silver medals today. But it's going to be tough. Going to be tough with Harmonic making the switch. And who's that guy who's not going to get on that podium? Is it going to be a guy like Lawrence? Is it going to be a guy like Savon? Or even Gigi in that mix? Any one of those guys can be that last guy, but that bite and their race starts right now. They've got to have a good qualifying and see where they stand. Gigi currently in 5th, Butler in 6th, another guy to look out for. And I'm not sure, is LSEM Savon 2K, is he in this room? He is not. So we will not know his time. He is.
Yes, he is. He's currently in 4th.
So there is 5 guys, 5 drivers so far in 54s. We got a big skid there that might be from Lawrence, actually. So this time's no good. This lap's no good. Here comes Diablo. Final turn for him on the throttle. And he'll have one more chance. That's going to be Harmonic in front of him. And we're going to look at those S2000s coming down the start-finish straight. Any faster here from LZR Diablo? Currently in 3rd. No, still in 3rd. He got a faster time, but I don't know if it's faster than Lawrence. So Harmonic in 1. Diablo in 3rd. And AMR Lawrence in 2nd place so far in qualification. And the final time around here at Suzuka East. Any early surprises here?
Nightlock is one that is up the order a bit further than where he was last week. I think he was around 10th or 12th last week in qualifying. He's up about 4 positions already. It looks like the BRZs are really struggling. Prod guys being the leaders amongst that group, and they're back around 10th or 12th. Could see a little bit more with them when they're actually in race, but it's going to be difficult for anybody to unseat an S2000 tonight.
So it does look like it is Harmonic, Lawrence, Diablo, Savon, and then Prod Menace squeaks there in 5th. And see if we can get some more lap times for you guys. So how many do we have here in the 54s? Because we were counting 5. Did anyone else squeak in with a 54?
Looks like we have 6, because I think Prod Menace towards the end managed one in the BRZ, and Apex Fuego has a 54.8 as well.
So walk us through some of the cars you're seeing too.
A few more,
I think
actually.
Butler.
Yeah,
a few more.
There's a few more if you scroll down. It being out of order kind of threw me because Lawrence and the AMR guys are at the bottom, and all 3 of them are in the 54s.
We got 9 drivers. 9 drivers who put up times in the 54. Not quite making 54s. Now we start to think what that cutoff might be. It's certainly going to be a low 55 for sure. THR Chirp Chirp in the BRZ, a 55.3. D-Tech and a 55.1, so he's awfully close. Hailfire, 55.5. Big Ben, 55.7. So Chirp Chirp is probably holding his breath. 55.3 is just about where I expect this cutoff to be. 9 guys in here in a 54, certainly looking good for them in the 54s.
Yeah, I would have to agree. I believe Chirp Chirp is going to be the guy on the bubble at a 55.3. Cutoff right around there. This lobby happened to have most of our top points drivers, so I don't know how many other fast guys are in the other lobbies. We are missing some of the GTR Roadkill and some of the DRR
DJ
guys
Professor, that's right, DRR. Yeah. There's a couple guys out there. We can't count out Roscoe P. Coltrane if he's here. He's another quick guy. So there's a few out there that I think can sneak in here. But that was qualification. That has just wrapped up, and this is obviously round number 2. Round number 1, what happened? Where were we? Well, we got a highlight reel for you. It's coming your way. So 2x2, it's going to be Diablo on pole. LSEM is Savon on his outside. Gigi and Lawrence. Gigi's on the inside. This is D-Tech in the BRZ on the inside. The GT300 series about to cross the brickyard.
You up for a passing opportunity, as you can see them stack up side by side.
Well, it's the fastest car of this field. There's going to be a touch. BRZ on a Nightlock. Nightlock's going to hit the wall. This infield section. Whoa, roadkill with a sim twitch. Lawrence, there's Diablo. Crossing the line for the win. For race number 2, 20 laps, 2.6 miles around Indianapolis. And Lawrence is going to touch Butler. And that's going to slow up this pack. Here comes Diablo. Here comes Menace. Here comes Nightlock. And Harmonic's going to pit early. And 6, 7, 8 spots seem to be a place for entertainment here tonight. It's kids at the back of a bus on a bumpy road here.
These guys have not stopped what they started in race 1.
GG putting some pressure on D-Tech in turn number 3. And we got a change up at front here. No, oh, it's a touch. Big touch there. It's going to be Savon, Lawrence, and Severius. And Butler's going to be a huge loser in that exchange, falling all the way down to 8th. He was in 4th.
Looks like you found yourself a battle for first.
And this is Lawrence and Savon still going at it. But look how close he is to Lawrence. My goodness. And they both want that last step on the podium. Savon and Lawrence in what was a perfect night from the Lazarus Esports driver. Certainly going to be a threat championship. So we just got a great look at the Indy Classic GP circuit round number 1, and it was a fantastic, fun night. That was just last week, and we'll go through a full rundown of those results. Our podium finishers, Ajax, from last week.
Yeah, so our podiums were a complete lockout by Diablo, Savon 2K, and AMR Lawrence. Those guys qualified in that order, and they also finished each race in that order. They had to do a little work to get there for the second race because of the reverse grid, but they eventually earned their ways back to their positions. Savon and Lawrence had a few good battles, but really, really dominant performance from LZR Diablo.
Yeah, I mean, I think just saying that and hearing it doesn't say that. Doesn't tell the true story of what it was last week. When they qualified in that order, race 1 went that order, and race 2 went that order. That's not how it really went down, but that's how it ended up. Lawrence and Savon really battled there for a while for that last podium spot. Gigi was right in the mix, and he actually was a race leader at one point. The pit stops obviously threw a wrinkle into the mix there in race number 2, so I wouldn't say it was exactly as, it came down in the black and white and once the pen wrote down to the paper. So there you go, a recap of last week. But there was one incident that took place, and you kind of saw it there on the race replay there, and that was between 2 drivers. That was Severius in the BRZ and Nightlock in a S2000. And we actually have some footage. We're going to take a deeper look at that. So, Ajax, this will be a little tough for you because I'm not sure you'll be able to play along here, but I'll get that up on screen now. Again, so this was lap number 1. swallowed up. It's Harmonic with a pass here. Nightlock gets around him on turn number 8. Now, we expect this move to get made back because Harmonic is in that Prowler. We know that Prowler does not have the top speed. What has the BRZ got? Well, it's the fastest car of this field. There's going to be a touch. BRZ on a Nightlock. Nightlock's going to hit the wall. So that's what we saw. Now, we're going to break it down into slow motion. See Harmonic here in the Prowler. That is Nightlock in that blue S2000 to the left, and this is Severius in the BRZ in the black and green. Harmonic clearly goes to the inside. Nightlock is on the outside, and Severius, well, he's going to go into the middle. Here, bump onto the banking, and this is when it all changed, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a difficult spot to try to go 3 wide here, and obviously it ended up going poorly for Nightlock. Severius had a good run. I just don't think enough room was there. That gap that you see when they're on the flat just really closes up, and as he comes onto the bump there, he drifts out into Nightlock. It didn't seem as severe when we first watched it live, but going back, seeing the replays, it was just an ill-advised move. He was probably better off sitting behind Harmonic and taking a little bit of time to get there. From Nightlock's view, it just kind of comes out of nowhere. All of a sudden, his car, Severius' car, just appears and gives him kind of a hip check into the wall. It's kind of you have to put it with a grain of salt. It's lap 1. You gotta be a little bit cautious, and I think the punishment kind of matches the crime. The 3-spot drop instead of actually just putting him at the end or something like that, because it was more of a racing incident rather than a malicious attempt to actually wreck somebody.
And I think that was Severius. You can see the quote on screen there. Certainly not my intention. I was just the guy in the middle. And I think that really tells the story there. So ultimately, he's going to drop from race number 1 from, what was his 7th place finish, down to 10th. So I'm sure I talked to him, got a chance to ask him about the incident last week, and he's a guy ready for round number 2. And I look forward to seeing him come out here tonight, and hopefully we get another look and get some redemption race from him. But that was a look back. So a steward's inquiry. What's a steward's inquiry? Because we kind of skipped over that.
So if a race incident occurs in such that it results in an accident, somebody getting damaged or losing time because of an incident on track between 2 or more drivers, the drivers then submit evidence to the stewards as a steward's inquiry, and from there, the group at TORA review the evidence, kind of give a decision on if anybody was at fault or if anybody broke any rules. And then a punishment is either given or no punishment is determined the correct course of action. In this case, we saw that the TORA guys found that it was an avoidable contact created by Severius. So with that, they decided to penalize him 3 positions based on his result after the event.
So, we are making our way into our A-Lobby representing the fastest 16 drivers likely, and that number always dependent upon how many drivers we ultimately have signed up for tonight's racing. But typically we're in that 12 to 16 range, and I imagine we'll probably be right at that 16. So we're making our way into that lobby. That means live timing's probably been updated, and we'll look to get that on screen for you so you guys know exactly how the racing or the qualification ended. In the meantime, let's do a little standings. So if Ajax, you want to pull out your spreadsheet, your numbers, your websites, we'll get the standings up on screen.
Yeah, and after his dominant performance last week, no surprise, LZR Diablo at the top, closely followed by Savon and Lawrence. Between them, not many points, honestly. The performance was really big, but it only earned him 2 more points than Savon, so it's nothing really comfortable to sit on. You still have to really be on top of your game every week, because the points between first and second and third aren't very big, and one drop in position during a race can swing this order almost immediately. Pedantic Squirrel, we didn't talk about him a huge amount last week, but he sits in 4th 4th place. A really solid performance last week, and he's in the top 5 because of it. Prod D-Tech R in the first BRZ is in 5th with 289, but he's also tied with YMTV Racing in the Honda S2000. LSCM Butler right behind them with a 288 in his own S2000. And then in 8th position, we have GTR Roadkill in the first rotary RX-8. A bit of a quiet week from him also. He was around 10th or so, but got bumped up as one of the guys that benefited from Severius's reduction, or actually Severius had a reduction, but puts him level with GTR Roadkill, so Severius is also tied for 8th place at the moment. And then rounding out the top 10 is Prod Menace in the 3rd BRZ in the top 10 with a 280. So as much talk as the S2000 being the most dominant car, we do have 3 different cars in the top 10 in points.
Yeah, I mean, look at that. So I'm going to try and get these quality results up here in a second. See if I can actually do that. It's not the best looking graph. See if I can fix that. Okay, so live timing is in, and I've kind of fixed that. There you go. Harmonic. He's made the switch, and he's on pole. You can see it there. Looks to be a 54.249 was pole. In AMR Lawrence to Diablo. So the 3 fastest drivers, actually the 4 fastest drivers, were all in our lobby. GTR Roadkill, the Mazda RX-8. Does the RX-8 have something here at Suzuka? It's got a 54.7, and he's faster than a host of S2000s. We saw last week Gigi just off the podium. He's in an S2000, Butler, Nightlock. A few drivers there in S2000s, and suddenly we got an RX-8 in the top 5. So how about Roadkill there?
Yeah, good qualifying from Roadkill. I think last week where the RX-8 suffered was the low speed corners into acceleration zones, which were really critical at Indianapolis. Here it's got a bit more of a flow. You really don't have that really abrupt slowdown. Maybe the last turn on the circuit is the most dramatic leading onto the main straight, but the RX-8 seemed just to be a little bit lacking in rear grip. And this week, I don't think it'll be as much of a factor, and I think that shows with 2 RX-8s in the top 16. We also see the Solstice make his first appearance with the SFM guys, which is good to see as well. Car that really didn't have the top speed to compete last week, now seems to be in contention this week with a little bit more grip balance track, even though we do have the long straightaway. The whole second half of the track is really grip based.
So we got 4 different cars, and those Solstices are right in the middle. We thought a cutoff was a 55.3. We're thinking chirp chirp with a 55.3. Nope, it was a 55.1 from Insanity, just sneaking in. The guys who just missed out. You know, actually should confirm, make sure there is indeed 16 guys in here. Yes, so Insanity is our last A-Lobby driver. The driver's just missing out. Iridescent Bacon, Prod D-Tech, DJ, Severius. Severius could not get into the 54s. 55.2 from him. He was a driver who had a great week last week despite that incident that we saw. Getting some top 10s. He's going to be in B-Lobby. THR Chirp Chirp, the 55.3. He will also be in B-Lobby. So a few guys not quite making it into A-Lobby. I think the big movers there, DJ and Severius, those are only in D-Tech. 3 guys we also in A-Lobby last week, not making it this time around. But surely there's some guys in here making their first A-Lobby debuts. And that's going to be who? It's going to be Aftermath, M-Sport, Genesis, right? Oh, Darkser, of course.
Darkser and Cradium are new.
We got a bunch of guys.
Insanity, I believe, is new for this week as well. Yeah, so the second half of our lobby here is, for the most part, really new. I think this is a poor qualifying from Butler. He's got a lot of work to do to be able to get back up to I think he's probably a top 6 driver in this lobby. I think this is a poor qualifying result for him.
Yeah, he's a guy who I know he's fast. We've seen him in the Mons esports, and he's put in some blazing time. I think he's probably, maybe it is come down for time here. He's only can practice so much, and maybe that's what it is for him. But here we go. It's going to be race number 1 coming your way, fellas. Boys and girls. So race number 1, how many laps? It's a good question, Andy.
I believe it's 12 this week, 12 and 26. Let me confirm that.
12 and 27, 12 and 27. So here we go. The cars you see on track right now, lap number 1. This is a formation lap. So they will cruise around the track, and it will be a rolling start here. A rolling start. So there he is, our pole sitter, LMR Harmonic in the S2000. He's made the switch to AMR Lawrence. LZR Diablo, our double winner last week. He will be in 3rd. LSEM, Savon 2K in the S2000. There are 4 of them at the top of this grid. Our first non-S2000 is a Mazda RX-8, and that is GTR Roadkill. Prod Menace in the BRZ. Then it's GG, Fuego, Darkser, Cradium, Butler, Nightlock, Aftermath, M-Sport, Genesis, and Insanity. We're going to start our race from Prod Menace in 6th place. You can see how close this pack is. And round number 2 underway here at Suzuka in Japan. Harmonic on the inside, Diablo in the pink S2000, and the first S2000 to come out of this turn number 1. Look at Lawrence. Lawrence trying to make a move. Now he's going to be inside of Harmonic. Go up to Diablo in 3rd. And Harmonic's barely hold on to Lawrence. This is Diablo in the pink. Look behind, and there's Savon and Roadkill. Lawrence fancied his chances there at the start, didn't he, Ajax?
Yeah, he really wanted to get there. Took advantage of being in the 2nd place position now, and set himself up well for this. Savon, I think, needs to really get his nose in underneath Diablo as soon as possible, and they're already starting to look like they're going to be able to drop Roadkill. Behind them, though, whereas I was watching, the guys like YMTV Racing and the Prod guys were actually 3 wide into the first turn. Unfortunately, a little bit further back down the pack, there was a spin from M-Sport. He's well behind the pack, trying to catch up as these guys are battling side by side throughout the back of the pack.
So M-Sport started the race in 14th, and he's going to find himself at the back. We're staying up here. Lawrence looking to Harmonic, and Lawrence is very fast here. He's got that S2000 turned perfectly and switching from right to left there, quick on the steering wheel. Now back to right for that final turn number 6, and on to that start finish straight. It's a short 1.3 miles here, and we're already 2 laps done. Harmonic, Lawrence, Diablo, this is Savon in the S2000. You are right, pulling away from GTR Roadkill, and he's back there in 5th place, crossing the start-finish line now. Let's pull up the map and see if we can find some more action. Maybe we'll go down the field. Let's take a look at here at number 7, and that is GG looking to head to Menace and Roadkill. So and this just behind is actually how they started the race. Lurking. You're right, Darkser.
Yeah, there was definitely some swapping back and forth, but they've come back to their original order. They've started to catch up to Roadkill again. They had dropped back a little ways, but you have Darkser all over the back of GG Racing.
You can see those sparks just fly off Darkser's Pontiac Solstice. Is there a move here on the inside of the final turn? Darkser and GG going side by side. First to come out of that turn, is it going to be GG or Darkser? It is a race down the line, and look at that S2000. That Solstice just does not have enough, and Darkser's going to fall in line. So that means
Solstice
basically Darkster's going to have to do this
strong
on the infield.
Yeah, the Solstice looks really strong through the S section. Lacks a bit of that top speed compared to the S2000, but he makes up the gap almost immediately as soon as they hit the S's. I'm not sure if this is a difference in builds or if it's just characteristics, but it's almost immediately that he's back up on GG Racing.
He tried this move last time. He's on the inside again. This is going to be at Dunlop now. Now through the final curve. Darkster makes the dive here in the inside. Gigi's going to go on the grass. It's going to cost him some top end here as you get onto the straight. But now it's S2000 versus Pontiac Solstice, and all Darkster can do is just watch him drive right past him. Look at that. Here comes Fuego now. Darkster's going to fall under Fuego's clutches in the S2000.
Yeah, it's a struggle. Do you build the car for the grip section and be solid? This is what Darkster appeared to do. Or do you build the car to be a little bit faster and maybe a little bit looser through the S's? And it seems like the S2000s just aren't quite as settled through the S's as the Solstice, but definitely have the power down the straight to pull away from it. So Darkster's doing everything he can and everything right, besides putting up a roadblock in front of these guys.
It's only going to... You can only do so much. Here comes Fuego, and this is going to be Nightlock. They're going to pass him tandem style. 1, 2. Now Nightlock, because he got something for Fuego here. Coming down to turn number 1. Fuego's on the outside. Nightlock on the inside. A slight little touch there, but a good move from Nightlock. And he moves into 8th. Nightlock started this race in 12th, so this guy's up 4 spots already in 6 laps time.
Yeah, good start for him. He's been solid. We saw him last week in about the same area as 8th through 6th. I think it was just maybe a poor qualifying result from him. Now he's moving his way up through the pack on a track that's quite difficult, but Apex Fuego is kind of the big wiggle off from Apex Fuego.
Fuego goes off.
I was about to say that he was kind of a roadblock for a lot of these guys getting piled up behind him, and that kind of came to a head with Darkster giving him a bump and Fuego sliding off into the sand trap.
So Aftermath's going to go around, Genesis is going to go around, and this is LSEM, the Butler, on unfortunately Darkster. It's a hot lap car. It is not a car ready to race here today, is the Pontiac Solstice. So falling down to 12, started this race, remember folks, in 9th, working his way up the order. But now he's just coming under the clutches of the S2000. He's going to try this move again. He's tried it on a few laps now. This time around, Butler gives him the race room. And I think Butler should, because he knows he's faster on the straight. But we got a car off. That's Nightlock. Nightlock's off of the grass at Dunlop. And he's going to lose a spot down to Aftermath. Genesis and Darkster there as well. A Riddler 3 wide coming out of turn number 6. Genesis, Nightlock, and Darkster. Darkster's going to be way on the inside. He's going to try and slide in, get any draft he can. Too bad, Darkster. That Solstice does not have it. And here comes Butler.
It looked like an unforced error from Nightlock. It looked like he just got a little offline, got clipped the grass in one of the turns and just slid off a little bit. We had just been giving him praise for moving his way up the pack, and he almost immediately lost that positions. Unfortunate. Let's see if he can actually move his way back up. He's got some teammates in front of him now, so he's going to be a little bit more cautious trying to go around them, but I think he's got the pace over these two at the moment.
Well, we'll keep an eye on this battle, and maybe we'll stay on it just through this last turn number 6. See if Butler's got something for Nightlock. Nightlock was in 8th. Here's Darkster again, taking another look. We've seen this move before. The best he can do. It's only so much. And there goes Butler. So we'll move up a few spots. Let's go to... I see something here. Let's see what 5th place looks like. And that's going to be GTR Roadkill. And
Roadkill's been in defensive mode.
Yeah, and who's that behind him? That is Prod Menace. And there's another drive there in GG. So that is a BRZ. Actually, we got 3 different cars here. We got an RX-8, a BRZ, and GG in the S2000.
Yeah, and since the start, Roadkill has been holding 5th position, and has gone really defensive. The 4 top guys, that order remains unchanged, but at the start, Roadkill was right up there with him. He slowly drifted back and kind of fallen into the target crosshairs of Prod here, but they haven't managed to find a way around him. The Mazda seems to be good on pace, or has enough pace on the front straight, and then he's got it tuned this week that it seems to have a bit more grip as he gets a almost near death wiggle there, but saves it.
Yeah, he was a guy who had he was suffering for rear grip last week, was GTR Roadkill, and almost had a disaster there, pushing it, and almost found that RX-8 on the grass, managed to hold on. Menace followed him in there, so GG looking to pounce. It's RX-8, it's BRZ, and it's S2000 here in the battle for 5th, 6th, and 7th. The driver in 8th place, that's currently AMR Aftermath. He's up 5 spots in this race, and 8th place is a significant spot. Why is that, Ajax?
If we have 16 guys, that's our reverse grid pole setter. Race 2 has a 50% field. Big dive from GG Racing to go inside a prod. A little bit of wiggle, sees him shuffled back into the order. That was a bold move, and as the lap's winding down, GG getting a little bit desperate to make up some positions.
Well, I've moved up to our race leader, a very, very fast race here. We are on our 2nd to last lap, and that is LMR Harmonic. From pole, looking back, you can see AMR Lawrence there, and LZR Diablo. It is S2000, S2000, S2000 up here at the top. In position number 4, that should be LSEM Save on 2K, and it is. And at one point, I actually saw quickly of note, AMR Lawrence, our fastest lap so far in this race. So Lawrence, can he get around Harmonic in race number 2? We'll certainly find out soon. But here he comes, LMR Harmonic, currently leading this race number 1 in our final lap.
Battle still continuing for 5th, 6th, and 7th, and then our race 2 pole sitter is so in his own little battle with some teammates with AMR, Genesis, Aftermath, and Nightlock battling for that pole for race 2.
Well, here it comes, race number 1. LMR Harmonic's going to cross the finish line with the win here at Suzuka. There he goes. It's going to be Diablo in 2nd. Lawrence in 2nd. There's Diablo crossing the line in 3rd. Save on 2K in 4th. And further down the field, it's going to be, that would be Aftermath crossing the line in 8th. Genesis in 9th. So this should mean Aftermath will be on pole for race number 2. Let me get that live timing off your screen.
Yeah, so a little bit more clarification on that format. We invert 50% of the field, so 16 guys in our lot, the top 8 reversed. That means AMR Aftermath will assume the pole position. LMR Harmonic, after winning the race, goes down to 8th. We go to a longer race format with 27 laps and 1 mandatory pit stop. A track like this where it's really difficult to pass, that pit stop is going to be critical. It's also probably, it's not a super long pit window here, or excuse me, a pit difference or differential. But based on when guys are pitting, the leaders could run into traffic relatively quickly because of how much time, say, the guy in the back or rear of the pack pits, he could be quickly caught by some of the leaders if they decide to pit later.
So our finishing order for race number 1, if you want to help me out and go through what we just watched.
Yeah, so LMR Harmonic in a pretty confident win. He had a few laps to battle out with Lawrence and Diablo, but eventually found a bit of a gap and pulled away. A 54.0 as his best lap. Really, really quick. AMR Lawrence in second place, LZR Diablo in third, LSEM Savon 2K in a solid fourth, and then GTR Roadkill in fifth. That's our first RX-8. Prod Menace in sixth position, AMS GG Racing in seventh, and our pole sitter for race 2, AMR Aftermath in 8th position, followed by AMR Genesis. Nightlock dropped down to 10th eventually. A kind of a disappointing result from LSEM Butler. I think he would have wanted to be much higher up the order. He's in 11th. A recovery drive for MNR M Sport as he recovers to come into 12th position. Darkster drops down the order to 13th after a valiant effort in the Pontiac Solstice. Apex Fuego in 14th, A4X Insanity in 15th, and Cradium rounds out the group in 16th.
Well, if you want to ready up, because race number 2 is moments away. We go right back to back. Only 2 races. You know, tonight's flying by. 42 minutes into the show, and we're going to get another race here. That first race was very, very quick. Race number 2 is going to be a little bit longer. There are pit stops involved. Every car will have to make one mandatory pit stop. And race distance this time, race distance, I believe, is 27 laps. And that would mean, right? So it would be Aftermath, Genesis. So we get an AMR front row lockout. No, excuse me. It would be AMR, then GG, then Menace. Roadkill, Savon, Diablo, Lawrence, Harmonic. Then it goes down to Genesis, Nightlock, the Butler, M Sport, and so on and so forth. Okay, so we got S2000s at the front. I was hoping maybe we get something else, but no, we got S2000, BRZ, Mazda RX-8, and then 4 more S2000s. But you gotta like LZR Diablo's performance so far. 2 wins last week and another podium today. He's got perfect podiums, but certainly the presence of LZR Diablo has shaken things up in this championship.
Yeah, for sure. Harmonic went from about 10th place or 12th last week to immediately a challenger. Takes race 1. Lawrence, solid performance, another 2nd place for him. So he's doing really, really well in terms of consistency. This is going to be an interesting one. I think Indianapolis, they have a bit more room, a bit more passing opportunities. Turn 1 here in a reverse grid race is guys like Harmonic have just been hot lapping for 12 laps. All of a sudden now he's right in the middle of this mass of cars, and he's got to react and be able to adapt to the drivers around him in the varying braking points and such. Hopefully everybody's awake, nobody's caught sleeping here, and we get through it clean, but it kind of sets us up for a little bit of bumping and hopefully no carnage, but there's always the potential with a reverse grid like this.
We had a little bit of it last week. There was, I remember Butler having some contact with another driver. Not sure exactly, I don't recall exactly who that was. Lawrence and Savon 2K gave us some great battles, GG in the mix. So perhaps we get that in race number 2. I think the longer race kind of lends, guys start thinking strategy. Certainly race number 1's really a sprint, but race number 1, that was clean. That was really clean. I think we saw Fuego go off, but other than that, I don't think I saw much there for the stewards to really look into. You got to feel for a guy like Darkser. You know, we get the presence of the Solstice. Yes, a new car, but boy, that car, the S2000s are just too fast. And throw the BRZ in there as well.
Yeah, and the RX-8 even. I don't think he could have contended with the RX-8 today. The RX-8 from Roadkill was really solid. We have 2 in this lobby. I didn't see much of Insanity's RX-8, but whatever GTR Roadkill has decided to put into his build is working this week. And he is able to contend with the just off the lead pack of S2000s. He's mixing it up with GG Racing. He's mixing it up with Prod Menace and the BRZ. So I'm optimistic that this balance of performance kind of shuffles itself out a little bit more. The S2000 still seems the dominant car, but we may see a little bit more variety as we go a little bit deeper into the series. Looking down through the results, I think a guy like GG Racing has a really good opportunity here. He's going to be starting from second row on the grid. Prod Menace is another one that could be really good.
Yeah, sorry, I think I had an issue. The stream may have gone down and come back up. I'm not exactly sure. So I might have gone silent there for a moment, but hearing reports of a crash on lap 1 in chat. We didn't catch that on stream, but
I think they're referring to M Sport. Seems like he got maybe a bump from behind that caused a sim twitch, and as he tried to catch it, just ended up spinning him off the track. I don't think he collected any damage, and he actually recovered to a pretty solid 12th place result after that. But yeah, there was definitely a spin towards the back of the pack in turn 1.
Well, that can happen. And turn 1, always a dangerous spot, especially in a sprint race. This next race, though, race number 2, will be 27 laps this time. 27 laps this time around Suzuka East, round number 2. And just joining us, my name is Andy, aka THR Flip Mode. And joining me on stream today in color is Ajax, and this is YMTV. We appreciate you guys tuning in to the stream today. And this race is courtesy of our friends at TORA, racetora.com, or the Online Racing Association. And you are welcome to join in on the GT300. We will be here back racing next Thursday. Go ahead and sign up, and you guys will have a chance to race on here on YMTV. If you don't get a chance to race, appreciate you tuning in and watching.
We're actually going to get 28 laps this race. Little miscommunication there. It's gonna say 29 on our screens. It'll be 29 if you include the warm-up lap, and 28 of racing. Seems the guys are having a little bit of difficulty with some party chat issues, and they're trying to sort that out on their end, and then we'll get right into this race.
So we'll get a little breather from the B-roll, and some of the cars that we're going to get a chance to see, hopefully, at some point this season. The Alfa Romeo 4C. Haven't seen that one yet. That would be one of the cars I didn't see last week yet. The Fiat, no, not quite. The Mazda, well, in qualifying we saw it. Next up, the Plymouth Prowler. Yes, we did see a Plymouth Prowler last week. That was at the hands of Harmonic, but he's made the switch. The RX-8, well, we've seen Roadkill. He's in that car. Insanity, he's in the RX-8. The Sylvia, no.
We don't have any takers in North America, it would seem. There's a couple guys in EU trying it out, but nobody in North America has yet to jump in the Sylvia.
The Z3? Not quite. Next up, the BRZ. We have seen a few BRZs, and those seem to be a competitive car. The Solstice, we got our first look at it today, courtesy of Darkser. And there's another Solstice there as well. Here are the build rules. How do you actually get your car legal? Well, you got to have the parts on the left and that Forza arrow, and then your car has to be 300 horsepower or less, a PI, or performance index A-class 620 or less, and then, weight 2,500 pounds to 2,700. Your goal, get to the most amount of horsepower you can and get the weight as light as possible. Easier said than done. And of course, your build and your tune can change week to week. So if you want a little more grip, want a little more power, then go ahead and make that change. There's the full car list for you. Most of the series, though, has been dominated by the S2000, hasn't it, Ajax?
Yeah, it definitely has. The S2000 has been the class of the field. BRZ sticking its nose in there a little bit, but just hasn't been able to get on the podium. One of the interesting things about this series is that we see a really big variance, or a significant variance in the builds. You have a lot of guys in the S2000, but if you look through the actual numbers that they're running, you have Harmonic and Diablo at a PI of 618. You have Butler in the LSEM guys and Savon 2K at 617, and then Lawrence and AMR GG Racing at 620. So we have a difference in builds just right down to the upgrades that they're putting on the cars, and then they're tuning them different too. So we have some variance within the S2000 even.
So race number 2 about to kick off. We'll take a quick look at the UK standings because there is a sister series to this series that runs at 3 p.m. Eastern. Not sure what that means for UK time. That's probably, what, 8 p.m. BST, or GMT, whatever that is right now. So there is a sister series that happens in my afternoons. If you want to race in that time's more convenient for you. But there you can see it, SFM Drift and Hero. He's taken off and ready to run with it in the UK standings. But here we are, race number 2. We are back on track. You can see our pole sitter for this race will be Aftermath, GG, Menace, Roadkill, Diablo, Lawrence, Harmonic. Will be our top 8. Aftermath in the S2000, GG in the S2000. Then we do have a BRZ in Prod, Menace, Roadkill in the RX8. They will go 2 by 2, side by side. We'll go to Diablo, our championship leader. And he might have the RX8 in front of him. So look for Diablo and Savon to make a move quick here, particularly around that RX8. We're going to get quickly in formation. And it's not looking... There we go. So it's going to be on the outside, interesting enough, is going to be Aftermath. GG on the inside. Roadkill in the RX8. Menace to Savon to LZR Diablo. And race number 2 here is underway. Roadkill looking to make a move early on Aftermath. Aftermath got a very, very slow start. GG takes advantage, and he goes in the lead. Diablo's going to go 3 wide. Savon in the grass. Aftermath goes wide. Roadkill loses out. Everyone else seems to be clean through turn number 1. Diablo up a spot already into 4th. GG leads this race. He led race 2 last week, and here he is leading race 2 again. GG, Menace, Aftermath, Diablo, Savon, Roadkill. Roadkill loses 2 spots, Ajax.
Yeah, brilliant save by Savon. He got kind of squeezed narrow in turn 1 as guys were going 3 wide outside. And he actually was on the inside turf grass for a moment and had a big wiggle and managed to catch the car and actually keep it going the right direction. Brilliant save by him, and he keeps the position. Roadkill's starting to get gobbled up by some of these guys that were in the S2000 at the lead pack as Lawrence goes by on the straight.
Here we go. We hop back down to Harmonic, our race 1 winner. He's going to make the dive in on Roadkill, and Roadkill watches him go by. Nightlock now, and then M Sport could be next for GTR Roadkill. So it's GG in the S2000 in 2nd position. That's going to be Menace, Aftermath, Diablo into 4th. Savon, Lawrence, and this is Harmonic. Your top 7 look behind Roadkill there in the RX8. So it is all S2000s. Well, looks to be something happening here. There's Diablo. He's going to make his pit now. And Savon was not ready for that.
Yeah, Savon kind of got bottled up behind Diablo as Diablo tried to make a dive to the pits. And definitely lost him a lot of spots. An easy pass for Lawrence and for Harmonic now as they move up into 4th and 5th. Aftermath was a bit of a cork in a bottle there with these guys trying to make their way through, and Diablo seemed to be struggling to find a way past him as Aftermath was just hitting the points that he needed to hit. Lawrence is now looking to try to make a move on his teammate in the battle for 3rd and 4th.
Well, maybe we go to Lawrence, who had a fantastic race number 1. And can he make the pass, like you said, on his teammate Aftermath? Do our leaders pit here? Lawrence says it's now time to make his pit stop. That means Harmonic will slide into 4th overall. He did not want to battle with his teammate Aftermath. So it is now S2000. Menace in the BRZ. Aftermath in the S2000. And this is Harmonic in the S2000. We got GGY. GG went a little wide there in turn number 1. Menace is going to close that gap. Here comes Diablo on the outside of Aftermath. Aftermath is going to twitch and lose a little bit of speed, and Harmonic makes the move into 3rd.
I like the decision from AMR Lawrence to go in a quick reaction to seeing Diablo dive into the pits. They're going to come out really, really close together. It looks like Diablo does make the pass on an undercut, but rather than trying to battle with his teammate, he knew one of his fastest competitors pitted and was going to be in open clean air, and he tried to attempt to cover it. Didn't quite have the pace on the 1 lap they stayed out for, so he ends up behind him, but now he gets to chase him and try to make up the position there. Whereas somebody like LMR Harmonic is now trying to battle his way forward through a group. These guys have a little bit more clean air, and we have a lot more takers for the pits. It looks like 3 guys are in the pit this lap.
And wasn't any of the leaders, though. So the lead pack here choosing to stay out. And that is GG, who we are on screen now. Menace there in the BRZ. And you know he's your rear view mirror, because LMR Harmonic there in that white intent S2000 is there. But does Harmonic decide to race, or does he decide to pit? We will find out here in a moment. Coming around Dunlop now. And on
big
to
mistake
turn
from Savon.
number 6.
Savon attempting to pass on AMR Aftermath. Got into the grass a bit, turned himself sideways, and then ended up twitching off to the track. He lost about 3 or 4 positions in that and is dove into the pits now, but he's way down the order.
Mistake there on lap number 6 for LSEM Savon 2K. He got 2 second places last week, but not looking like his race here at Suzuka. This is AMR Nightlock. Currently sitting in 6th. Looking ahead, Menace. Menace is off. Menace now side by side, and he's going to touch with Aftermath. And that was in
coming
turn number 3.
Coming together with Harmonic and Menace. I didn't quite see the full extent of the interaction, but it looked like Harmonic also tried to pull off and let him rejoin, and Aftermath pounces.
And so Harmonic makes the move there on lap number 6 at the start of this race. Oh, Harmonic's off! Harmonic in the grass, he's gonna twitch! He holds on to that. Boy, almost a sim twitch, but here comes some cars. I'm gonna go to Aftermath in 3rd. Does Aftermath make a move here on Harmonic coming on to turn number 1? And he's first to break. He gives Harmonic the corner. Boy, if I'm Aftermath, make that move, make the dive, put the pressure on him. And he just gave Harmonic everything he needed. Harmonic does not make mistakes. We just saw one right there. That does not happen often. He almost goes off again. And now Menace and Aftermath battle. Now here comes Roadkill. He wants to play this game.
Yeah, we got a nice line of cars here with Roadkill, Nightlock, M-Sport is back there. So really big group of cars bunching up right here. A couple guys dive into the pits to try to get out of this order with Roadkill, a twitch from Nightlock as M-Sport passes him on the outside.
Get out of this, and here comes Nightlock, and M-Sport. I just saw a car come out of the pits. I'm not sure exactly who that was. That would be Menace. Menace comes out behind Aftermath. So Roadkill's now in the pits. This is M Sport, and this is Nightlock. Nightlock in the blue S2000. S2000 versus S2000. Our race order is AMSGG Racing, yet to make his pit. Harmonic, Aftermath, then Menace to M Sport. This is AMR Nightlock. Behind there's AMR Genesis. First chance we get a real good look at his BRZ tonight. Any takers here on lap number 8? No, sir. A little bit of a twitch there. Nightlock looks to have a better run. Go to M Sport here for a second and look back. Maybe not.
So leading the chase pack, Diablo has a pretty solid lead over AMR Lawrence. That one lap that Diablo pitted earlier than AMR Lawrence gave him the gap to be able to open a little bit of space and a little bit of a cushion. Aftermath in front of this group is struggling a little bit, and Prod Menace is all over his back bumper. Oh, sorry, you switched to Diablo.
And there's a car way behind. That's SFM Darkser. Clearly must have had it off at some point tonight, as he is really far down this order. But that is... Let's go to... We got another taker for the pits. That is Menace. Menace now in the pits. Let's go to
huge
sixth.
mistake from
Nightlock.
A huge mistake from Menace. He tried to make it into the pits and actually ended up on the outside and got blocked, and he lost 4 positions, but had to actually give up on his attempt to try to get into the pits, and he's still on track. So he dropped down the order a lot in that incident.
So this is Nightlock looking hot behind to Menace and Genesis. And there looks to be another battle here. Is there something brewing here for the lead? Let's go to Gigi. Did we get a change at the front? We did. Harmonic now in front of AMSGG Racing. So it's clearly a mistake there on lap number 10 from the AMS driver. Harmonic now out in front from 8th starting this race.
But I think he got slowed down in traffic. I think Diablo has done enough that Diablo and even Lawrence might be ahead of Harmonic. Harmonic's really got to put in some really good lap times here to try to make up that gap that Diablo has created for himself. There's a bit of a question if Diablo pitted a little bit early. You're supposed to pit after 2 laps. He pitted at the end of lap 2. So we'll see how that is handled by the stewards. But he currently could be the leader over Harmonic, who had to work his way through traffic.
You know, I thought Harmonic did the same thing last week.
He did, and I think he got away with it. And I think it might. I think it might be noticed this week.
So maybe a warning was made to the drivers beforehand. I go to the loading screen, which is not a good sign. This typically means we're going to be losing a driver. Look to the scrolling up at the top. It's Darkser. It's Darkser in the Pontiac Solstice, not having his night, and I think he may have just wanted to get his car out of the way, perhaps, and that may have been of his own doing. I decided to get out of the way of the race.
Sounds like he had an incident trying to get into the pits and ended up collecting damage on the pit wall. So an unfortunate event for him. Good to see the Solstice up here, and he put on a pretty good show in race 1. But unfortunately, it looks like he collected some damage and put himself well down the order.
This is LSEM the Butler. Not having a good night here. I really expected more from him, like you said. Here he is currently in 12th, looking ahead to Prod Menace. Menace having not the cleanest of races, which means the Butler also not having a good race. Lap 14 of 29, which would technically mean our 13th lap. And we are approaching the halfway distance of this race. It is Harmonic to GG, and you know what? I think Harmonic's pulling away. So if we go to the number 1 on that mini-map, you can see it there. And there is GG. That is a good distance. Almost equidistance to M Sport, currently in 3rd, Nightlock in 4th, Genesis in 5th, Insanity in 6th. But the leader of the undercut would be LZR Diablo, currently in 7th. where does he come out when the top 6 drivers decide to pit? And that's the big question. And here we are, LSEM. This would be LSEM, the Butler. We ride aboard right now. Where do you think we should go?
I think this is the best battle on the track until we see Harmonic make his pit and see where he comes out. Prod, Menace here, LSM, the Butler, Apex Fuego, and GTR Roadkill, all on a line. Even Cratrium is back there in the Solstice. These guys have been kind of nose to stern for a while here. They seem to be making up some pace, and it looks like ahead of Menace is AMR Aftermath. So we could see some action here as they kind of condense themselves as they catch up to some of the guys up ahead.
So let me know in chat if you guys want to see any particular driver, or your teammate, or your fan, your favorite, and we will get him or her on screen. But currently, we're still looking at this battle. That's Menace, Butler, and Fuego trying to join the picture here. Maybe we'll go to...
Nightlock is in the pit.
Okay.
He's in the
pit. We'll go to Diablo, so currently in 7th. And he's going to pass a few drivers here. So Diablo in 5th. We got a request for Cradium from our Darkser driver who decided to end his race early, or perhaps, like you mentioned, a crash. We'll go to Cradium, currently in 15th. In the Solstice, gets around Sanity in the RX-8. I mean, we got the chance to see the Solstice here, here at Suzuka. Looking ahead to the calendar, there may be, hopefully there's some other opportunities. We get another look at this car and the Swordfish Motorsports team. Darkser confirming he disconnected after getting wrecked. Rough. Wrecked, then disconnected.
I would jump to the battle for
9th,
10th, 11th, and 12th.
We'll do that. We will go to Fuego.
AMR Nightlock just came out of the pit, and he came out in front of Prod Menace, LSM the Butler, and Apex Fuego.
Here we go, side by side, Butler and Menace. Is Butler going to make a move here? No, he slides in. Turn number 1 is Prod Menace. Nightlock a little wide there on entrance. It's almost a double apex turn. You go wide as possibly as you can. You get quickly over to the right and ready for the S's here in Suzuka. Butler a little off the racing line. Manages to hold it down. I guess good amount of grip from his car here. But Nightlock, Menace, and LSEM, the Butler behind. You can see Fuego there in the S2000 and Roadkill in his RX-8. Here comes Fuego. On a good line. And Butler's going to go a little wide. That means Fuego's going to make the move here for 11th. On lap number 18. Cross the stripe, and here we go. S2000, it's going to be a drag race to this first turn. And they have a little touch there. Fuego and Butler continuing to fight here. Oh, there seems to be a touch. That was Roadkill maybe onto Butler. Looked funny on my screen.
Yeah, it seemed like a bit of a desync touch there. It didn't look like they actually made contact, but the way his car reacted definitely seemed like they got hit.
Yeah, that definitely looked like contact. It was not what it appeared on our screen and what you guys may have saw. I imagine from Butler's perspective, he was probably hit from either Roadkill or Fuego. I'm going to guess Roadkill, though. Yeah, I know, Coda, it did look like he didn't get touched, but just looking from my experience, that almost looked like he did get touched. I know it didn't necessarily appear that way on stream, but I bet he was. So here we go, lap number 18, 10 laps to go, and we should go to our leaders. I want to know where Diablo's currently in. He's in 5th, Genesis in 4th, M-Sport. Let's go to M-Sport in 3rd. All by himself here in the S2000. Wow, he is all by himself.
Yeah, at one point he was in a pack with Nightlock and those guys, but I think he's made a wise decision to stay out. Looking at where Nightlock came out so close to Prod Menace, I think if M&R, excuse me, I tried to say that way too quick. M-Sport here tries to take a little bit of time and put some clean laps in, he may be able to earn himself that position on going a little bit long before he pits. And shout out for the mental health awareness livery on his car too.
And the number 951 driver racing for a cause and looking to get his first podium of the season. Finished 12th last race in race number 1, but a complete turnaround from him in race number 2. And he's got his S2000 currently in 3rd place. There goes Gigi. He's gone into the pits. That means M-Sport will temporarily take over 2nd place. Our leader, Harmonic, also yet to pit. Fastest driver, though, is LZR Diablo. I think I saw a 54.0 from him. My goodness. So he's coming. He's coming, Ajax.
Yeah, I still don't know if Harmonic has done enough out in front after being delayed trying to get through traffic. Diablo got that clean air very early, questionably early, but got that clean air early and made that count where he got that fast lap times in, matching Harmonic's fastest lap from race 1 with a 54.0.
So that's LZR Diablo, our championship leader in the S2000. Let's go to Genesis in 12th position in his BRZ. And he's got GTR Roadkill in the RX-8 in front of him. And not quite sure who else that is. It might be Fuego there in the S2000. So it's got to be the only drivers yet to pit. That has to be Harmonic and M-Sport. Would have to believe, right?
Yep.
You can see Harmonic there crossing the finish line, and he's got some cars in front of him. Believe it or not, that's how fast he is. He's got to pit now. He does not want to catch any lap traffic. It's going to have to be right now, right?
He's running out of laps to choose. He probably could stay out for 1 or 2 more, but if those guys, for any reason, have a slip-up, have an incident, he's going to be immediately on him. He's running the risk of getting blocked by these guys. So he's got to make the decision here in the next probably 2 laps if he needs to. He's got about 5 more before he really has to pit based on the regulations, but he's running out of space on the track to actually have clean air.
Is this the time Harmonic does it? He does. Pulls into the pits. Saw a skid from him. We'll go down to M-Sport. Does he decide to make it into the pits now? Number 951. And he does indeed. So all cars have pit. The S2000 Spec Cup is on. It's a race to the finish, Ajax.
The man to jump to will be Diablo to see where him and Harmonic come out. Harmonic has pitted. He's moving in pit lane, but it looks like Diablo's going to get the move done, and he does. Comes out well ahead of Harmonic. AMR Lawrence is going to be the guy in 3rd behind Harmonic.
There you go. Diablo looking to get his 3rd win this season in, this would be the 4th race. So Diablo now in front of LMR Harmonic. You called it. It was Harmonic just racing through a little bit more traffic. And Diablo pitted early, but, maybe someone in chat can correct us. Is the pit window, was it open? So is there something to come of this?
I think it does require an SI. I don't think it's an immediate review by the stewards. I think somebody has to make a complaint. I think that's why we didn't see it last week, but we may see it this week. I think Driftin' Hero was one of the first guys that shouted it out, and he has a bit of experience coming over from 4 podiums in EU at the moment.
Perhaps a tisk from LZR Diablo. But here we are. We got a look from the chase cam of LMR Harmonic, and you can see LZR Diablo there. And you know, I'm gonna just from watching this the last lap, I think Harmonic's coming. But is there enough laps? Is 4 laps enough? And now coming up on 3 laps now.
Harmonic did now set the fastest lap of the race. He also is in the 54 zeros, but just a hair better than Diablo's first lap. And he's trying, but I think he's going to need a mistake from Diablo to be able to close this distance. These guys have such similar pace. I just don't know if Harmonic has it on pure pace to catch Diablo at this point.
The distance between Diablo and Harmonic, 1.3 seconds. Well, we'll watch that gap and see if that comes down any further. Certainly from my eye, it certainly looks like it. He's found a 10th already into turn number 6. And does Harmonic find any more time? Just don't know. I just don't think there's enough here left. But he is coming. So let's find some more action here for you guys quickly before and we'll come back to this battle for the lead. But our 1 through 3, it is Diablo, Harmonic, AMR Lawrence, LSE Savon 2K, AMSGG Racing in 5th. In 6th, it's M Sport, Aftermath, Nightlock, Menace, Fuego, and Roadkill. We'll go to Roadkill in 11th. You know, maybe a better one is to go to Apex Fuego in 10th. And you can see Nightlock. He's going to lock up into turn number 1. Menace is now going to close the gap. And Fuego is within striking distance. Nightlock certainly racing in his rearview mirror now.
Yeah, he's got a whole rearview mirror full of prod bumper at the moment. Menace is being polite, not really using the bumper to move him out of the way, but definitely sticking his nose in there where he can. I think he's just looking for another opportunity. That mistake with locking up in turn 1 allowed him to close the gap, and now he just needs one little opening to be able to get alongside. It's going to be difficult. It's a hard track to pass on, but Prod Menace is definitely trying to find that way around, and Fuego's sitting there anxiously waiting for an opportunity to get up there too.
Has that gap shrunk any bit? No, it has not. It got down to about as low as 1.2 seconds, but I think Harmonic is now settling down, and he's going to race for 2nd place. It does look like it's going to be Diablo who's going to take the win here with 1 lap to go. This is Prod Menace looking ahead to AMR Nightlock. And coming around the S's, turn number 3 now. Now wrapping our way around Dunlop. And turn number 6. The penultimate lap. With 1 lap left to go. This is Nightlock. A little bit of a twitch there. Onto the straight. Did the BRZ have anything here? No, looks like the S2000 is actually faster here on the straight. Last week it was the BRZ. Maybe there's a little too much downforce on Menace's BRZ for Nightlock. Nightlock's clean through turn number 1 this time. A little sloppy last time. There's Fuego ready there. But let's go to our leaders. I want to get him as he crosses the line. It's LZR Diablo making his way around turn number 6, and he's going to get his 3rd win of the season. LZR Diablo takes the win here in race number 2. It's Harmonic gets his first podium, excuse me, his 2nd podium of the night. In 2nd place, he flips in style. And AMR Lawrence finishes his race in 3rd, giving us a good donut there. In 4th, LSE Savon 2K doesn't get a podium tonight. AMSGG Racing in 5th. M Sport in 6th. We'll go down to Fuego, see if there's any action here. They cross the line. No. Nightlock, Menace, Aftermath. Or Fuego, excuse me. So, Ajax, you want to go through our full race order?
Yeah, sir. LZR Diablo with the fastest lap, actually second fastest lap time in first place in the Honda S2000. LMR Harmonic consolation prize. He gets the fastest lap, but ends up second. AR Lawrence with a very good performance with a third place for his second podium of the night. LSCM Savon recovers. He had a bit of an issue early with a little bit of sliding off the track, but recovers to fourth position. AMS GG Racing in a quality fifth. I think he wanted to contend for a podium, just didn't have the pace tonight. MNR M Sport, a great performance in race 2. Had an issue race 1, got spun. A sixth place, a solid performance in race 2. AMR Aftermath, after starting on the pole, has a very good, solid performance, ends up 7th. AMR Nightlock in 8th. Prod Menace battling with Nightlocks, that ends up in 9th. Apex Fuego in 10th. GTR Roadkill in our Mazda RX-8 is in 11th. AMR Genesis in the BRZ is 12th. LSCM the Butler, and probably for him a disappointing 13th tonight. Cradium in 14th in the Pontiac Solstice, and AX4X Insanity in the RX-8 in 15th. Darkshire rounds out the pack with a DNF in 16th. So, man of the night, Harmonic makes the switch to the S2000 with the double podium.
Clearly.
Definitely a good performance for him. AMR Lawrence, we probably don't give him enough airtime, enough praise, but he's been really solid so far through this series. Just hasn't really been in the challenge for first place much. He's always right around the bottom of the podium, which isn't very far behind, but I haven't seen him lead much, but he's been in that second, third, fourth position a lot this series.
Have our race number 2, and sadly our night is coming to a close. It was Harmonic who took the win in race number 1, and in second place that was Lawrence, followed up by Diablo. And this time around, it was Diablo who gets the win. Harmonic takes second place, and AMR Lawrence takes third. So it was a good night. I think a hero drive from us today was MNR M Sport. I got a good chance to see him today on track. He found his car as high as second place, but after the pits sorted out, he found himself in 6th. Overall, I think it was a good night of racing here at Suzuka. Could there be some SIs? Could there be some homework for our TORA marshals to figure out? Well, perhaps. We heard of an incident on race number 1 at the start in turn number 1. And we're not sure about the pit rules there. Something need to be sorted out. We'll certainly recap today's race. Look for us at Laguna Seca next week, Ajax. One of my favorites, and it should be a good race, especially for these cars, right?
Yeah, I think these cars will be really, really good here. I'm not certain of how the performance is going to work out. The Solstice might be strong there. We don't really have too many long straights. We have the middle section before the winding left uphill, and then we have the front straightaway into turn 1. But the Solstice might be a bit of a challenger, especially through the first into the second apex or second sectors. BRZs will probably be solid again, and then GTR Roadkill. He's making the RX-8 work. It hasn't been a top 5 competitor quite yet, but it's improving each week, so that might be one car to watch as well.
Well, that's just going to about do it for everyone here at YMTV. We will see you guys next Thursday. We will be at Laguna Seca for round number 3 of the GT300. YMTV will be doing the British GT. That's going to be April 14th. So breaking news, YMTV is covering the British GT. If you haven't signed up, be sure to do so, racetora.com. For everyone here at YMTV and Ajax, my name is THR Flip Mode. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to subscribe on your way out. We will see you next Thursday. Congrats to LZR Diablo and LMR Harmonic, our race winners for tonight.